Hello, guys. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. I just want to find out if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Just want to test. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's class. Please, I just want to find out if you can hear me. Let me know in the comment section. Is the sound okay? Please, I really need to know before I continue. Anonymous, please can me. Is the sound okay? Please let me know. I would really appreciate. Okay. Gertrude, please, can you hear me? Is the sound okay? Please, I just want to know if the sound is okay. Is the sound okay? Good. Okay, thank you. So you can hear me clear. Okay, hearing you loud and clear. Thank you so much. Thank you, Momili. All right, thank you, Gertrude. Thank you. I appreciate. Okay. So guys, I need to let me really explain this before we continue. You understand? So really explain it because some people they used to have issues when it comes to making of sketch. So let me just pull out some pictures from my phone so that I can show you guys so it will be easier for us. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you can see sketch like this now. Can you see? You see, this is kind of like a fish sketch. Okay, how to go about cutting it. So that's what I want to explain, and then I'll do the illustration for you guys to see. Okay, so let me pull out another one so it will make it easier for us. Okay, so most times when it comes to skirts, like me, when it comes to skirts, like God really helped me, and then anything about skirt is not an issue for me when it comes to sewing. No matter the type of skirt, it's really not an issue. So the truth of the matter is, once you can master um, the technique of making a skirt, every other skirt is just like every other thing will just fall into place for you. Okay, so let's see. So you can see this kind of skirt also. Can you see? So I'll just keep pulling them out so that we will just take a look at them before I show you guys how to cut. So fish skirt, some people call it a mermaid skirt, you understand? So it's still the same skirt. Some call it a mermaid skirt, some call it a fish skirt. So it depends on. So you can see this one also. You see this one has like a backdrop. That's like it came down a little bit more, and then you can see this one is just like standing straight. Okay, so these are different kind of like fish skirts that you could cut and sew. Okay, so now I'm going to just we're going to use, I have some fabric here. So the fabric that I have here that I'm going to be using, so this is like a lining piece of fabric. So I'm just using this as an illustration, you understand? So I'm just showing you guys how to sew it. So that is why I'm going to be using this. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut a fish skirt that has a back tail. You understand? So we're going to cut the front and then I'll show how to cut the back. Okay. So in cutting the front is a very simple process. So I'm just going to pull out. So this is my lining piece also. So I'm just going to cut out an amount of fabric that I'm going to use. It's a simple process. So for this, we're going to you can do it in two ways. You can decide to use your, what do you call it, to use your slash and spread to do that. You understand? You can use slash and spread, or you can just use your free hand. So it depends on how really wide you want that skirt to be. Okay, that is what will determine what you're going to be cutting. So for this, so for the front, we're going to cut out the front. So I'm just trying to pull out a piece of fabric that we'll use to cut the front. So the main business of the day is actually going to be on our back piece. So I'm just going to let me cut out this fabric so we will not the material is big, and that's the lining that I have here is big. So let me just cut out what I want to make use of. It will make it really easy for us. Okay. So now the next thing we are going to do now, we are going to cut out the piece. So after cutting the front piece, we'll cut the back piece. So like I said, it is a simple process. Okay. So you can decide to use slash and spread to do this, or you can decide to your free hand. Okay, so I'm going to use, so for this I'm going to be using hand. You guys should please like this video. I would really appreciate, like the video. Okay, So for us to use our free hand, so I'm going to turn my camera so we can let it face down, and then we'll do the cutting. Okay. So I'm just going to, so like I said, I'm going to use like a mini cut to do that. So let me get a chalk. So I'll turn my camera. So I'll just, I think I will just, yeah, let me turn the camera. Yes. So you can see what we have here on the floor is okay. So now I'm going to show you guys how to actually do this. Okay. So for this, we're going to be using our free hands. Like I said, we use our free hands. So when we want to cut this kind of skirt, so let's use this length. It's easier for us so that we'll be able to. So this length that we have now, which we have here now, this is 32 inches. So if you want to cut this kind of fish skirt with a back tail, that has a back tail, so the first thing you are going to do, you are going to determine how long you want the front to be. You understand? So you guys like the video, drop a comment for me on the comment section. I would really appreciate. Like the video and just greet. Let me know where you're calling from, where you're watching from. So the first thing you want to do, for instance, if your skirt, for instance, your skirt will reach here. You understand? If it's a fish skirt, you might want it to flow down more. So you can decide to add like 3 4 inches extra to make it flow. So what I'm trying to say is, for instance, now if I want my skirt to be like 28 inches, that's like the full length. So I'm using length of, normally when you're sewing for an average size woman, length usually 40, between 40 and 45 inches. Okay. So for instance, if your length of your skirt is 40 inches, you can try to add 3 or 4 inches, or even to make the front flow properly. Okay. So for instance, so let's just take it now that this is our 40 inches, and then we are adding like this is 4 inches or 5 inches to it. Okay. So when you want to cut a skirt like this, what you are going to put situation is how wide you want the down part to be. So you can actually use your tape like this. Can you see? You can stand your tape like this. So you can see like what I have here now on my mannequin. You can use your tape like this to know, to determine how you want it to be, okay? So for instance, now if we say let's use 33. So if you are using 33 now, that 33 now, you are going to just like divide it, okay? You're going to divide that into two, of course. So that is how you know how you fold your fabric. So most times when you are sewing, if you are making those kind of fish skirt and you don't want to use so much fabric, you can decide to fold your fabric at between 15 and 17. You understand? 15 and 17, for instance, let's say 17, this is 17. So when you open 17, this is how wide the front of our skirt is going to be, which is okay. So for instance now, so okay, let's say this is our 17 inches now, okay? So now you have the width of your skirt, and then you have the length. So the next thing you're going to come and measure all of your lines. So which is your hip line. That one is very important. So you mark your hip line, and from your hip line you mark your knee line. Okay, so knee line is usually between 17 and 19 inches. It depends on how tall the person is. And then this first line here is our start line, which is the waistline. Okay, so now we want to add our waistline measurement. So this is our front piece. Cut the front, we use it to cut the back. So for instance, now our waist is 30, let's say 34. Okay. So for instance, our waist is 35, that into 4. You are going to mark like this, and then you add like 1 inch for your darts, and then maybe 1 inch for your stitching allowance. Depends on how many inches allowance you normally add. Okay, so please, like I said, let me just check sure that people are following so that I don't just keep talking to them. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. If you are just joining, let me know where you're watching me from. Okay. So let me set it properly. Please, you guys should please like the video. I would appreciate. Okay. So let's continue. It's okay. The things is well set. So this is our hip line, this is our knee line, and then this is the full line. And then, like I said, if you are cutting a fish skirt or a mermaid skirt, add like 5 inches, except your client it to flow down, that's the front to flow down. But if they want the floor to flow down, at least 5 inches. When we're cutting the back, we're going to add as much, even more than 5 inches to the back piece, okay? Because if you want it to have a cut together tail, we have two types of tail. You have the one that is cut together, that's you cut it and build it together, and then you have the one that is not cut together, it's separated, you cut it separate and then you attach it, okay? So all right, so let's continue. So now we have marked our waistline. So next thing, we're going to mark our hip line. So you divide your hip measurement into four, and then you add your stitching allowance, okay? And then you are going to come to the knee line. So most times when I am cutting a fish skirt, you know, this our when we mark like this now, we mark 12 inches. Normally you're supposed to reduce it by 10 inches, by 2 inches, which will make our to be like 10, because you remove 2 inches from your hip line to come here. So most times what I normally do, I usually remove more than I remove more than 2 inches. Most times I remove like inches, so you can see. So I'm going to show you guys why that. So I'll mark those two lines, and then you're going to see the difference. So let me just rule it with my tape, my ruler, so that you can see. Like I said, where you're watching me from, Merana, you're welcome. Chinenye, you're welcome. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now you are going to connect these two lines together like this. So you connect those two together. That's the waist to the hip, and then the hip. So this is the original line. This is the original line. That's when you minus standard, when you minus 2 inches. This is what you are going to have. Like I said, most times I usually minus more than 2 inches. So if I am doing this skirt, because I want that knee part to be very slim, this is what I would use. I will not use this, I will use this. So once I mark it like this, the next thing I want to do now is take my, can you see? Because you know this down part, I measured it, like I told you, you can use between 17, between 15, 16, 17, even 20, depends how wide you want it to be if you are using your free hand. But if you are not using your free hand, if you use your pattern, you are going to do a slash and spread. So you can see the way. So that's just like a simple way of cutting a skirt. Can you see? Just cut it down and just mark it like that into the down part of of your your piece. So let me use that word, of your piece. So that's how you mark it, and then after marking it, that is all. Like I said, you can, so like you can see, like I have here, you can see. But this one is like a 6 pieces skirt though, but it's still almost like the same pattern. So it's still almost like the same, just like the fish skirt or the mermaid skirt does not have those lines. You get, so that's just like the difference. And most times if you do a 6 pieces or 8 pieces, it's usually fuller, because if you notice, you are adding like extra fabric. Okay, so it depends on what you want. Okay, so now I am going to cut this like now. So like I said, this is our front pattern. So you cut it that way. So the next thing you want, this part, we're going to curve this part, you get, we're going to curve it. So we do that, we're going to cut our back piece. Okay, so in order for us to cut our back piece, the back piece has to be longer. You get, it has to be long. Totally depends on how long you want. It has to be longer, wider. So can you see? So I'm placing this. No, it's not going to work. So let me get another fabric so that you will understand it properly. Okay. This one is another leftover fabric that I'm going to be making use of. Okay, so I'm just trying to fold this now. So this one now is going to be for our back piece. It's going to be for our back piece. So you're going to fold it. You fold it like at an angle. You get, so like I said, if you are not using a pattern, you're using a free hand like this, it has to be, it has to, can you see? You see the difference that I'm getting here? So I'm going to fold, and then we are good to go. So I'll show you guys how to go. If I, can you see how I am placing my, you can you see how I'm placing my pattern? So I'm going to come back and check it out. I want to check from the camera to make sure that you guys see. Okay, so you see. So let me just move it a little bit. Yes. So if you are just coming, thank you so much for joining. Like the video. We're almost done now. You can see it's simple process. Maybe I'll show you guys how to just join it to make it Okay, okay. So can you see I've placed it? So now when you place it, you're going to check. So this one now, this back is going to be the back tail. You understand? So we have about 8 inches. So we can still pull up if we want how long you want the tail to be. So this is about 10 inches. Normally, your tail should not be less than 10 inches, 10 to 15 inches. So that is what it should be. Okay. So can you see the space that I'm leaving here? So this one now, this down one now is that down tail, and then this one is going to be the tail that is at the back. Okay. So this tail that is going to be at the back, you are going to determine how wide you want it to be. So what I have here now is about 5.5 inches. So normally, if you are adding it, if you are making it for a full dress, it should be you can make it up to like 15 inches. That's the width. Can you see? Can be up to 15 inches. That's this part now of this fabric will be like 15 inches. Why are you doing that? Because you want it to drop properly. Let's see if I can. I'm just trying to see if I can fold my fabric. My fabric will not be enough. Okay, let's see. I'm going to fold it at an angle to make it so that it will be. Mhm. I need extra at the down, so it's not going to work. Normally, this is how I'm supposed to fold it. So I'm going to look for a way I'll fold it. For a way I'll fold it. So let's see. Now when you are using freehand, you have to try out different options. You have to try a different option for your. Okay. This one will not work. So let's just go original plans. Let's just go with our original plans so that it's not that confusing, because we need, except if you don't want the tail, that's if you don't want the one that will float to the down. If the one that will float to the down, you can actually do it that way. That's you make it like this, and then just make sure that this side is wide so that you can shape it out. But if you want the one that flows from the down round down, this is how you are actually going to fold your fabric. Okay, so let me make sure that we can all see it. So this is how it should be. So this is how you will fold this. So I normally tell my students, you can always, so this is 10 inches. So this part also, I'm going to reduce the edge so that this side will be wide enough. So you can see this part, we have about 6 inches. And then towards the down, we have almost like 10. So that is okay. So like I always tell my students, all these things, they are not like they are rocket science. You can always use a lining to practice. Do you get? You can use lining to practice all of your sewing. So you don't necessarily need to wait until you have material or whatever before you start. No, use a lining. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to be marking this part. So the tail is going to start from the back of the neck. So there are some different ones. There are some you can decide to come down, let the tail start from here. So it depends on you. Okay. So the next thing you want to do now, you already have your skirt. Like I said, we have 10 inches here. So normally here it should be like this, or 15 inches, depends on how wide. The next thing you are going to do, you're going to come the waist and this part. You're going to just use just like 1 inch. Can you see? You're going to use like 1 inch. I can see it. I just make one. That's why I keep standing up to check. I don't want to be okay, be doing, and then you people are not seeing what I'm doing. So you are going to use like 1 inch. So the essence of this 1 inch, because it's or 2 inches, because you are going to add a zip to it, so you can do 2 inches. You can do, depends on how many inches you normally use to add your zip. You can do 2 inches. Just add that, and then you're going to mark that 2 inches to the knee line. So this is the knee line. So once you get to the knee line, you're going to stop. Okay, the next thing you're going to do from that knee line, you're going to create your slant. You get, you're going to create your slant for, can you see? So like I said, that since I'm using freehand, I'm just going to do that. Can you see how this part is looking? So you're going to create like a effect. That's you. That is why this side has to be big. You are just going to open out your hand. And when you get to this part, you are going to open your hand out. You get, so once you open your hand out, this is what you will get. So once you get to this part like this, you want to do, because we are cutting a tail, you're going to come to this part like this. You're going to come up on this part. You come up like 2 inches or 1.5 inches. So you remember we used the difference between here is 10 inches. From that part like this, you are going to create like a curve like this. Can you see? Can you see what I'm doing? You see, it is a simple process. So once you open up on, just imagine that my fabric was a little bit bigger. You open up as much as you want, and then once you open up, once you get to the down, that 10 inches down, from that part, you're going to create a round curve. So this round curve depends on how wide you want it. If you want bigger, you can open up. Can you see where I'm opening up my hand? You can just open up and then let everything terminate at that point, you get. And then once everything terminates at that point, the next thing, this part like this, everything is going to be the same. Okay, so I hope people understand what we just did. I'm just going to check before I cut. Okay, so I hope you guys understand what we did, because I'm going to cut. I want to cut the skirt. Okay, so this is how it will be. So you cut that out. Once you cut that out, so this side, I'm going to open this side up. I'm just opening it first, not cut it though. I'm just opening it. Okay, so now I've opened it. The next thing, I'm going to cut this side. So I'm going to go like this. So can you see the way my skirt is going? So I've cut that part out. Can you see? Make sure that this side they terminate. That's like they are the same. So this my front. You know that down part is a little bit straight. So I'll just like curve it like this. So once I curve it, so that curve, I'm just going to make sure, let them terminate at that point, and then I am going to cut. So I'll cut that part like that. So this part, I am still trying, just make sure that it flows. Can you see? Make sure. So after that, the next thing you are going to do, you are going to cut this one like this. So if you want to make it, if you want to add a butt cut to it, it's a simple process. If you want it to have like a butt cut, I'm trying to look for my chalk. Okay. Want it to have like a butt cut that the bomb will sit and properly. You are going to open around this part, around this hip part. You are going to make a curve. You can add like half of an inch to it. Can you see? If you notice, it's not going to be straight again. You just add like a little bit of curve like this. Can you see? You see the curve, and then you blend that in the pattern. So once you do that, that skirt is going to have a butt cut. So the butt area is not going to be flat. You understand? Can you see the way I cut it? You see the way that part is looking rounded. It's like normal skirt straight. You get? You can see it is looking rounded. This is it. And then the next thing, you're going to add your that. So you add it that way. This is everything you know the skirt. Okay. So like I said, this part you can see. So this part is going to be for the back tail. So now I will show you guys when you want to do this. Here's what you are going to do. So this is the side, and then this is the butt area. So let's see. Let me check half time. Let's see if we can just do a little bit of stitching before I go. Okay, like seriously, and time is almost. I need to go for school runs. So let's see. Okay. So let me show you guys how to just stitch fast. So this is the back. So you're going to join the back. You join it at that zip allowance area. So you just join it at that area like that. And then join it. So I just want to show you the tail, how it will look like. So that is why I am I'm stitching it. So you just trim. This is the back of our skirt. Can you see the tail? Can you see the back tail? Can you see? So now let's see. This is the front. Let me just place them together like this. So you can see how your skirt is going to look like. The sound of that machine is so you can see how it is going to look like. I think I should use my just going to use my dress form. Uh, let me just turn it and use my let me see if I can. Okay, let me turn my camera and just show you guys how it will look. So this is the back. So the emphasis is on the back. So this is our front. So this is the back. So can you see? See there? So you see the tail. So like I said, if you want your tail, depends on how big and wide you want it to be. So all you have to do is just increase your pattern, just increase it. So like I said, if you want to practice this, you can actually use your aligning to do a mock-up. So when you do that, you know you have gotten the actual fit. You can now lose it and use that piece for your actual fabric. So I'm going to be stopping here now. My time is fast spent. I am going out. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. All of you that tuned, I will see you guys later in the evening. God bless you. Bye.